Hi there, hope you're all doing well. It's the start of a new series for me today, and this is Warhammer Quest Cursed City. This game looks pretty cool, but most importantly, the minis look amazing, so I figured I have to paint them. I'm starting off with Brutogg Corpse Eater. He's just a big ogre as one of your player characters. I primed him in black and I gave him a white zenithal highlight just to pick out those sort of areas of detail and give me a little bit of an idea of where the light should be. I start off with gunmetal for all of the armor and weapons, as there's a lot of metal on here and it needs to be done, so probably should start with that. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, or you could join the Discord using the link below. There is a poll section on there where you can make mini requests or just vote on video ideas from the list that's already there. You can also share what you've been working on and just show off minis that you're proud of or not proud of. It's all good. If you just want to hang out and chat while I game or paint some minis, I stream on Twitch on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays at around 8 PM UK time. With the armor finished, I used dark flesh tone on the belts and the leather parts of his armor. I went for dark flesh tone and it's got that hint of red in there, and it just helps sell the leather look. Now I moved on to the skin with elf skin tone for all of the exposed skin, including the part I missed under his shoulder pad that I do come back and do later on. For some more of the metallic areas, such as the helmet and the plates on the leather armor, I used tinny tin. I also added this to the straps of the blade just to give it a bit of variety there instead of just pure gunmetal. The artwork shows that his trousers are blue, so following that I used crystal blue on them. To add the details to the belts and the rims of the shoulder pad, I used glorious gold. I used hammered copper to give the shoulder pad that sort of bronze look that it has in the artwork. For the mace handle and the blade scabbards on his back, I used oak brown. I now use skeleton bone for the fur on his legs and some of the straps dotted around him. To give the accent on the shoulder pad some variety, I grabbed Tainted Gold. This is just to fill in those two sort of little bits on the side of the shoulder pad. I also use this to do the two like pendant things he's got around his neck. For the ceramic flask on his belt, I use Stonewall Grey, just to give it a nice single smooth coat, as that's all it needs. I grabbed Weapon Bronze to do a highlight on the shoulder pad and add some details around the Mini. For the last of the metallics, I use Shining Silver for these sword hilts and some of the small details around him, such as the studs on the straps around his arm. Next, I use Jade Green to do the gem around his neck and the tip of these sword hilts. Now I moved on to highlighting all of the belts and straps with leather brown. This is predominantly just an edge highlight over them all, with the odd line in the middle to add some variation and make it look a little bit more worn. Next on my list of highlights is Ice Storm for the trousers, just the raised areas where the fabric has been folded. Before continuing the highlights, I added some washes, starting with flesh wash all over the exposed skin, belt and shoulder pad. I went for a wash on the shoulder pad with this as it's got a bit of a hint of red and it just helps sell that bronzy look. The second wash is strong tone for everything else on the Mini. As with the flesh wash, I do just sort of dab it around the chainmail just so it's got that stained and variant look. With the flesh wash dry, I went back to elf skin tone to do the raised areas of the skin, making sure to leave the wash and some of the stained skin in that sort of recessed area so it's got a bit of a blend as it fades through. The last of the highlights is bone white for the teeth, eyes and bringing out the tips of all the fur around the Mini. To get started doing the base, I used homemade sterling mud to give some ground cover over the entire base. I did also end up covering the skull on the base, but I'm okay with that as I didn't really need that there, it was just covering a hole. After waiting for the base to dry, I grabbed matte black to do the base coat on all of it and just to finish off the eyes. The first colour going onto the base is a dry brush of cold grey. The next dry brush going onto the base is Stonewall Grey. This is a much lighter dry brush and it just grabs the very tips of all those raised areas. To finish off the base, I gave it an all over wash of Strong Tone just to give it that sort of dirty, muddy look. And that will be it for Brutogg Corpse Eater. As you can probably tell, I've added a couple of tufts to the base just to finish it up some more. I'm not too sure who I'm going to be doing next. I'm feeling sort of Dagne or Cleona. If you want to help me decide which order to paint them, or just have an extra recommendation not part of Cursed City, you can join my Discord using the link below. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below, or you're welcome to come hang out on Twitch while I play games or paint some minis. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays at around 8 PM UK time. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, click that subscribe button. But most importantly, don't forget to be kind to each other.